the one I always think of, which was probably the coolest experience to me, probably sounds really simple to others, but there was a lady who we started teaching. She was in her 80s. So she was pretty old, and she was living on her own now. She was by herself and pretty lonely, and she had a friend who was a member of the church, and she said, you need to look into the church. And her friend gave her a copy of the Book of Mormon. And this lady, she called the temple, she called the mission office, she called everywhere trying to get a hold of missionaries. And so we got a call from our mission president, and we got a referral from the MTC through a text message, and tons of referrals for specifically that lady. So my companion and I were like, man, we need to go right away. We need to meet this lady. And so we went, and she had already gotten through the first 12 chapters or so of the Book of Mormon that she had been reading on her own. And we sat down and we got to know her, and one of the experiences that had always stood out to her in her life was she knew that as a baby she was baptized, and she remembered that she was, and that was always important to her. And she didn't know much more than that. When she was raising her kids, she went to different churches because she felt like church was important for them to go to, but she didn't ever really feel tied to a church or know much doctrine. And the coolest thing to me was when we taught her lesson number 2. It was the plan of salvation. And we were teaching her about life after death. And you could see in her face just that she felt what was being said. Not just that she understood it on a mental level, but it was as if she were remembering something that she already knew. And when you looked her in the eyes, you could see that and you could feel that, because she had, before that, just believed that after death, that was it. There was nothing more. And so when she learned that there was more, that she could live with her Heavenly Father forever, it was phenomenal. And that was such a good experience to me, to see that conversion take place in such a quick amount of time. And after that, she was even more stalwart than she already was. I mean, I mentioned she had already read 12 chapters of the Book of Mormon when we first met her, and she went even further than that. She was reading the Book of Mormon every day. She started reading from the Gospel Principles Manual. And we came back the next lesson, and she told us that she was reading about the chapter of Jesus Christ in the Gospel Principles Manual, and that she just started weeping because she knew how true it was. And this lady is amazing. But the best experience, I think, was just being able to see that testimony arrive when we taught her about the plan of salvation. It was cool. I'm glad I got to meet her.